figures. They finally arrived. Hooray! Polaris Kai variant Batman and Wonder Woman. So these ones are a little interesting. I think the result of these may have come from DC already licensing their rights out to do figures to other companies, namely Mattel. And if this is where it had to go in order for it to happen, so be it, I suppose. But it wouldn't matter if they did have a license to do regular figures. I still would prefer these. These two so far look amazing. So we're going to get started first with Batman, and then I'll make another video for Wonder Woman. And so first of all, let's take a look at Batman. So PlayArts look like they're kind of stepping it up a little bit with these ones. I don't know what the last figures PlayArts Kai, the last PlayArts Kai figure released was. I picked up Raiden and Ibuki. I'm not sure how many were released or which were released in between that and these, but they seem like they've stepped it up even a little bit more, at least just based on the packaging. It seems like they're now trying to take a little bit of a different approach towards how they do what they do. There's a little breakdown about the PlayArts Kai line, and I guess in particular for these DC figures, and then there is a description here for the character itself, and kind of their take on it and where their mind was at, I guess, when they created these. So if you read this, they seem to, I don't know, maybe be coming to grips with what it is that they've been making recently. I feel like they've been making the best figures outside of like Hot Toys that you can buy that are reasonably priced. So hopefully they remain reasonably priced. I don't know. These are about $70 each. I'm not sure if you call it reasonable or not. I think they're definitely worth it, but we'll take it, take a closer look and open them up, see what's what. Real quick before we do that, just take a look at the box. So there's Batman. It's got some nice wraparound art on the front of the box. I'd never seen this art before. I guess I've been in the dark with it. But that and this Batman on the inside, they're both awesome. I don't know, I've never seen them. And I don't know what artist did them, but it looks like they did some for all of the figures that they're making. I've seen online, after I've seen these, I looked for it and I found Batman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern. Green Lantern, I'm sure, will be released next. Pretty sure he's the next one to be released. Not really. I thought all three were going to come out at the same time. And it shows the three of them there. It's the top of the box. Side, or the back and the side, and the bottom. It's pretty standard stuff there. But new packaging for the front of the box. This is very cool, very nice design. I almost wouldn't feel bad leaving them in the package with a design like that, but that's not going to happen now, is it? Alright, so right inside the box we have the PlayArts Kai stand that came with the last few figures. It's there and unchanged by the looks of things. But there are some instructions inside here now, instead of having a separate little slip of paper, to build the stand and show you how his accessories work. Looks like basically the same stuff that they did use to print on side in a little piece of paper inside, but a little different now. So there's that. Let's see here. Let's take a look at Batman, I guess. I wonder if these are taped, not taped. He's not secured inside of his bubble, as it would turn out. Alright, so let me get him set up here and show him off a little bit. Alright, so here he is. So the first thing that kind of gets your attention immediately is the sculpt and the paint, and they're pretty much top-notch. It's state-of-the-art. I don't think anybody making plastic posable figures like these any better. The art style is a little divisive. I think there's some people that, love it or hate it, I suppose. I'm not sure if too many people are on the fence about it. I love it. I love the aggressive styling, all the angular bits of armor, and the Japanese influence. So the style and the look of the figure kind of is what you notice right up front. Once you get your hands on him, he's pretty hefty. It's got feels good and solid. His cape, most notably, is very heavy. It's very thick. It's a lot of material going on this cape. And one thing right off the bat, if you look here, he has back armor, and these are two wings, essentially. His cape is divided into two halves. Each half is connected to a ratcheting ball joint in his back, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before for a cape. But I've seen it for hair and things like that, so it makes sense that they would do it here as well. So his sculpt everywhere that you can see is very nice. They didn't skimp anywhere. They really didn't have to really do much on his back because you wouldn't see it in most instances anyway, but everything there looks great. The back of his knee is a little plain, but still some little cross-section members in there. Still looks good, nice matte finish. So I think this figure does have some downsides, however, and I think first and foremost is the articulation. Now there's very good articulation, but it is lacking a little bit. So for me, the biggest thing, and this is true for the PlayArts Kai Metal Gear Rising Raiden and others, is that there's no thigh or shin swivel. So there's no rotation for the thighs or the calves or shins or knees. So basically the only rotation you get out of the leg is at the hip joint, and it's pretty limited. That's goes from here to here, and that's it. So basically what you end up with is, I don't know, it tends to limit what he can do, and if you wanted to splay his legs out and things like that, it'll do it, but I don't know, it just kind of, you can't really get much out of his legs that you would be able to get out of him otherwise. There is some ankle articulation, of course. The ankle's on a pivoting ball joint. It ratchets. It's good and strong, and then his toe kind of swivels there, or his foot, I should say, in the midsection of his foot. It's split at an angle so that you can kind of get some good poses out of him that way, and gain some stability, and so it doesn't look like he's walking around looking weird with his feet sticking off the ground. The cape is very heavy. It's so heavy that you pretty much aren't going to get him into too many poses without having to use his stand that he comes with. So it's a good thing he does come with one, because I don't really know what you could do, especially if you wanted to like fly the cape. It looks great. It's got like grappling hooks at the end here. Very cool. Great design. It looks awesome, but super back heavy, to the point where his torso ball joint there in the middle won't really support the weight of the cape. I suppose maybe if you were to get him in a pose, he may hold it all the way crunched forward, but a little bit of movement and he wants to arch back. But that's kind of to be expected. The ball joint inside his torso here would have to be super tight in order for to accommodate the weight of the cape. And then, of course, if the weight of the cape is, if you have the cape down, it's not that bad, and you can actually get a little bit more subtlety out of that joint in the center of his chest there. So, as far as articulation goes, this is, as best I can tell, it's about what you got out of the Raiden figure. Sorry, I got a cat that's likes to mess with me while I'm recording. Basically, you got a ball-jointed neck that's on a kind of a post. It's kind of hard to describe. It's not double-jointed. You don't really get... no, I'm wrong. It is a double joint. So you see there? It's just... but it's good. Good range of movement. His head will spin all the way around. No further articulation in his neck. Then he's got the ball-jointed shoulders. Shoulders that also swivel forward. You can see there like this. And then it's also got a ball joint on the inside, which I'm not sure if it's like Raiden or not. Maybe not. It's it's a hinge that's pegged into this hinged piece here. So the shoulder's pegged straight in. The riding one, I believe, has a ball joint set inside there, but this is not a ball joint. This is a swivel hinge, and so you get 360, and you can raise his arms to about there. And it doesn't look like it's not necessarily the sculpt that's restricting the movement. They just didn't cut the joint in that far. You can see right here. So it's only going to raise or swing out about that far. So the hinge right there really comes in handy for that. That'll give you some extra range of movement. So unfortunately, he can't really raise his arm up higher than that there. Of course, if you swing it up like that, he can do all that. But can't really hold his arms straight up. Then he's got this kind of top of the bicep swivel there. He's got the PlayArts Kai ratcheting ball joint elbows. They're double jointed, although due to the sculpt, that's about as much of the range of motion you're going to get out of it. He can't really bring his arm towards his face any further than that. A little bit of a bummer. I'd hope that since they're basically creating their own designs, that they might, and it says so in their packaging, if you read it, they're talking about how they sculpt with articulation in mind and all that. I don't know. I feel like his arm should be able to come right up to his face, but not quite. You get a good articulation out of the wrists. The wrists are actually done pretty well, and again, it's the same as the other PlayArts Kai figures. Ratcheting ball joint that swivels on both the inside the wrist and inside the hand. Now the hands. Well, let's finish up the articulation before I move on. So the chest, he's got this articulated top, kind of right in his mid chest there, midsection of the torso. No other waist articulation after that. No hip swivel, for instance. He's got the ball jointed ratcheting thighs and hips. He's got the PlayArts Kai rubber pelvis thing going. Fits him pretty well. The way the sculpt is set up, it doesn't really. I haven't really found a bad position for that yet. So it's looking pretty good. Of course, you've got the cape with looks like you could probably unpeg from this thing. I'm not going to pull on it too hard. Oh, there it goes. So let's go ahead and take a look at him without the cape. So there's that. I don't know that I like that, but it kind of definitely highlights the armor a little bit more. You can see that a little easier. You can see kind of the shape of his sculpt a little easier, I suppose. It's a very bulbous shoulders, but they can be kind of swung back due to that swiveling joint in his shoulders. So that's not too bad. He still has a little bit of a cape there, but I'd say you could probably get away with displaying it without it if you wanted to. It's pretty good. But I think the cape is too cool to skip. So then you've got double jointed knees. Plenty of range of motion out of them. That's sufficient. They'll do just fine. And like I say, no further articulation in the leg or shin. The thigh and the shin are basically solid pieces with no articulation in them at all. And then you've got the pretty standard PlayArts Kai feet ratcheting joint there. Just like the wrist, it's basically a ratcheting ball joint that's pegged in on both sides that have a swivel on both ends. So you can really get into a lot of positions, and then you've got the split right in the middle there. Alright. So, now, as far as his accessories go, so he comes with, let's go ahead and leave his cape off for now. He comes with a couple of little goodies. Let's get him to stand up a little bit. Stand, damn it. There we go. Alright, so his sword. Sword's pretty similar, about on par with Cyborg Ninja's sword, or Raiden's sword. So it's got a couple of little things that weren't readily noticeable to me, and that was the hilt there. I didn't see that before. It's kind of a Ninja Star-ish bat logo. See it there? That's pretty cool. The blade is pretty straightforward. I kind of feel like it's almost a little plain, considering it's Batman and he's like a ninja Batman. I would have expected maybe, I don't know, some serrated things, or maybe something a little more ornate or intricate, but pretty straightforward blade. It's painted very well. It's nice, very serviceable paint job on there. It's a little dark, but it's Batman, for crying out loud, so that's alright. Let me get it to focus here. And then the handle, pretty cool. It fits kind of the rest of his utility belt and these, whatever these are, on his leg. Basically, it looks like all of those things could be the handle of this sword here. It's got a little nub at the end that looks like it's not supposed to be there. So we'll have to see if we can't remove that. Oh, came right off. Alright, then he comes with a gun, and I'm not sure what kind of gun this is, but looks pretty cool. It's nice. It feels a little bit, I don't know, it feels like it fits him. This seems Batman-esque to me. So who knows what that does, but it's a pretty cool gun nonetheless. And then he comes with a Batarang. The Batarang's a little underwhelming, I gotta say. It's cool, I like the design, but the backside is kind of hollow, and they put this stupid stamp in there. This says DC, and then some code in there. I don't know why they felt that was necessary to put that there, but there it is. So those are his 3 accessories, and then he comes with some hands. So he's got one hand that grips his sword and all his accessories. So his gun and his Batarang, at least according to the directions on the box, are meant to come, or to be held, with this one hand. The problem is that he only comes with one of them. He only has one hand that holds his accessories, and it's his right hand. As far as his left hand goes, he has 2. He's got an open hand that he has here. Pretty straightforward stuff. And a fist. And that's it. I feel like they could have went one step further and gave us another hand here, but to hold on to a sword, and maybe the sword in the Batarang or the sword of the gun, it would have been nice, but they didn't. And he's got the same open hand and fist for his right hand. So 3 right hands, 2 left hands. Should have been 3 of each, to include one open grip hand like this for his left hand. Kind of a bummer. I don't know. I feel like they skimped a little bit, and they're going to start putting this stuff on their packaging, talking about how they're the world's greatest sculptors and the dream team and all this stuff. You're going to draw some scrutiny. And PlayArts Kai has been a great series, and it's just getting better. But I don't know. I don't know if this is a dream team type level stuff we're dealing with, and you leave out one of the hands. Now, sculpting, as far as sculpting goes, I got to agree. It really is kind of top notch. And like I say, this is what's going to strike you most, I think, when you see this thing, is just how intricate the design is, and how cool the sculpt is overall. I love his face and his mask. It's excellent. He's got kind of silver eyes there, which I wasn't really quite sure how his eyes worked before. When I'd seen him pictures of him and stuff, I wasn't really sure what was going on there, but yes, silver eyes. Face looks good. His mouth and everything's fine. He looks appropriately Batman-esque. His head sits inside of this. His cape kind of has a collar on it. Wasn't sure how I felt about that at first, but looking at it here, I think it looks really good. It covers up his neck enough that you can kind of get these looks to him here, where he's kind of looking at you from under the cowl and from right above the collar, which is pretty cool. The Bat logo has some kind of metal brush strokes in it, as if it's been kind of scuffed up. It's got a little dry brushing on there. Very cool. The rest of the armor looks pretty much immaculate. I haven't seen that anywhere else on him. The utility belt, I feel like this could have been a little more Batman-like. It's kind of an iconic part of Batman, is his utility belt. Sometimes it's nothing, but sometimes it looks like a bat, and this looks like something, but not a bat. I feel like they could have went a little bit more, a little more detailed into the design and made that look like a little bit like a bat. Yeah, I love these arm blades. They're very well done. They don't come out. They're molded as part of the gauntlet. He's got this kind of texture on him. You can see there in his tricep area. Everywhere there isn't armor, he has this kind of textured material there, or, I'm not sure what it exactly would be, but there's that. I like this this kind of spine section here. It's very cool. I've always been a sucker for that kind of design. It's one of the reasons why I like the early War Machine designs. They had this down the front of them. Very cool. There's the rest of his armor. And these on his legs here are not removable either. They're sculpted into the leg itself. And some nice highlights here. It shows up pretty well on camera, it looks like. The little highlights in his armor here and his chest and everything creates a nice effect. They basically do the same thing here to a different, well, slightly different effect, but they basically highlight it and kind of add some depth to it. Makes it pop a little bit. Same with the knees and the shins. Overall, I just really dig the design. The way this armor is all segmented and the lines that they have, very futuristic looking, and not a stretch to have Batman wearing stuff like that. So that's about it. See if I can get him to stand a little easier. Definitely easier to stand and pose without the cape. My recommendation is if you're having trouble, pose him without the cape, and then add the cape later once he's in his stand and in the pose you'd like, because it goes a long way. Let's get his sword going here. So all in all, I think he's definitely worth the money. He's an amazing figure. If you don't care for the design, there's not much else here for you, to be in all honesty. If you're familiar with Play Arts, then you kind of should know about what to expect quality-wise and kind of articulation-wise. The story of these figures, though, I think easily is the sculpt and the design that they've given them. I love it. I'm all for giving these guys a new design and a new look and kind of a fresh take, something we have not really seen before. All right, he's not gonna stand for long, I fear. All right, well, thanks for checking me out. Stay tuned for Wonder Woman. I'll get that one up as soon as possible, and stay tuned.